What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Ayir Asante TV. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between Canadian and American football. I head up to the CFL in May, so I just want to get some of y'all familiar with the new rules. Well, not really new rules, but different rules. And, just tag along with me today, and I'm going to break it down for y'all.
Touchdown, Wyoming, Ayir Asante. Ayir Asante, goes in, Holy Crossway.
So let's just get into it. American football and Canadian football are very much alike, but they do have some pretty stark differences. And I like to start, as I make my way over to the field, I like to start with the dimensions, right? So I am at the 50-yard line. I'm going to walk across while I talk about this. American football fields are 53 1/3, if I remember correctly, yards wide, right? So 53 1/3 yards wide. In Canadian football, the field is 65 yards wide. American football, the entire football field is 100 yards with 10-yard end zones, meaning from one end zone line to the other end zone line is 120 yards. In the CFL, the field is 110 yards, meaning that their half field line is at the 55, and their end zones are 20 yards long. So their entire field is 150 yards long. So, all in all, their field dimensions are larger, and that leads us to number two. Well, why does the field have to be bigger? The easy answer is because there's more men. In American football, on the field, for either team, there's 11 people. In Canadian football, there are 12. So, adding an extra defender and extra person on offense means that there should be more field and more space for people to operate. So, their field is larger, so that makes sense. From what I can see in film and from what I've learned, it seems like there's just an extra receiver or a running back for the offense and an extra defensive back for the defense. So it may, throw off some of the concepts that we're familiar with in American football, with whether it be 2x2 or 3x1. Now there are 4x1 sets. There are, 3x2 and 2x2 with two in the backfield offensively, and then defensively, the normal cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Those rules are kind of altered a little bit because you may have an extra defender or defensive back covering an extra zone that you normally wouldn't have in American football. So, you could have a Tampa 2 with a low hole runner and a high hole. You could run a 3 safety defense and have everything covered and still show up in the run game. And I think that adds an extra layer to it, and I think that'll be a lot of fun to explore as I start to learn more about the CFL. So besides those first two rule differences, my favorite rule difference is the fact that in the CFL, or just Canadian football, there's only 3 downs. 3 downs to get 10 yards compared to 4 downs to get 10 yards in American football. And that's why the Canadian Football League is called the passing league, right? You have to throw the ball way more than you have to in American football to get first downs. Think about it, you only have first and second down to really get that first down, or else you're punting the ball. So you're going to be running the ball way less. Obviously, you still have to run the ball to keep them honest, but these have to be high percentage plays, and they make you throw the ball way more. And as a receiver, I can't complain. But then that also kind of leads into my next rule, right? You have forward motion in the CFL, and what that means is before the ball is snapped, you can be running towards the line of scrimmage. That lends itself to receivers again, because now, in American football, you can get pressed, and the only way to kind of circumvent that is sideways motion, right? Motion from side to side. If you go up the field in any way, there's a flag. That's an illegal motion in American football. That's completely legal in the CFL. Also, in the American football, they can press you if you're on the line of scrimmage. Usually if you're off the line of scrimmage and you motion, that's how you get away from it. You can only do that with one player, right? If you motion more than one player in American football, you have to get set before you snap the ball. In the CFL, you can have multiple players doing this forward motion, what they call a waggle, attacking the line of scrimmage, so that when you snap the ball, receivers can be hitting the line of scrimmage at full speed. So that's an amazing advantage. Obviously, defenders have their way, and it's kind of a whole different philosophy than what you would do with American defending. But, it's one of those, again, another rule that kind of lends itself to receivers, and that's why I'm excited to get out there and, just put speed on film and make plays. So, you know, I can run before the ball is snapped, you know, avoid a press, make a move in open space with a bigger field catch and then get more yards. You know, it just kind of all works together. So with all that said, right, the 3 downs, the pass first league, the larger field, the longer field, you know, obviously as a receiver, you're super excited and you're like, all right, this is meant for me, and it is. But you have to be super conditioned, and that leads me to the next rule change. Instead of the American football play clock of being 40 seconds, Canadian football's play clock is only 20 seconds, half the time that you have in American football. Meaning that once that play is down, it's called dead, they blew the whistle, and the ref hits one of these, you know, starts the clock, you have 20 seconds to get the next play off before they call a delayed game. And yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where everyone who I've talked to is like, hey man, you have to be conditioned, right? Adding on these forward motions, right? That's adding on about a 5 to 10 yard sprint on every route that you run, right? They're passing the ball almost every play. You have to be able and willing to receive the ball and make plays in the open field and, you know, do what you got to do. But you have to be conditioned because you have to do it all game. But those are really the largest changes in my opinion. You know, there's ones like the fair catch. In American football, you can fair catch on punts. In Canadian football, there is no fair catch, but you have a 5-yard halo. So I believe that they allow you to catch. I would assume that they kind of try to time it up or something like that. But, you know, that's interesting. They have the one point, when you punt the ball out the back of the end zone. You know, that's interesting. And then overtime is more like American college football, where, you know, both teams get an opportunity to score from, I think it's the 35, might be the 30, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think, what else is there? Oh, one big one for, you know, time management, I'm sure that this will come up. In Canadian football, you only get 1 timeout compared to American football having 3. So, you know, it makes it way more valuable the entire game. There's way more, you know, but those are the kind of the ones that I kind of harped on and felt like that you guys need to know as you, you know, if you guys get to put your eyes on some Canadian football, or you just want to get familiar with it. Because, you know, we will be having a lot of Canadian football content, especially as I head up there in May. You know, you guys will be following me through the season. I'll try to be doing game day vlogs and bring you guys along with my journey as I, you know, make a name for myself up there. But yeah, that's kind of my video for today. As always, like, comment, subscribe. You know, you guys have been killing it, supporting me and the team, me and Lokesh. We've been doing our thing. Super grateful for everything you guys have been doing for us. You know, first podcast went amazing. You know, got a lot of love on that. We have our next podcast coming up. And we have some other stuff in the works. You know, as always, you guys have any comments or questions, concerns, you can drop them in the comments. If you want to reach out to me, Ayir Asante on Instagram, Ayir Asante on Twitter, Snapchat, Ayir Official. You know, reach out. I get back to everyone. You know, again, thank you. We got our first official sponsorship. You know, we got all that stuff rolling. So, you know, we're having a lot of fun with this and looking to continue doing it. So can't do it without you guys, and we're out.